Good morning, and thanks for joining our new features webinar. My name is Jason McMurray. I am the VP of Customer Success here at Mindflash, and with me today I have Sean Venkat, who is our Senior Product Manager and has been working on most of the projects that we're going to see here today. Just real quickly here as we get going, we're going to go through a few things just to get started. Most of what we'll see today is highly customized features which have been requested for quite some time. So we're excited to show these and be able to share them all with you. There's a lot of customization you can see here. There's things around branding, both for the trainee experience as well as the emails that are sent, the email server that's used, and then we also have the ability to manage multiple accounts now, and we can talk through the details of that. Before we get into the actual content, just wanted to mention a couple of things. First of all, Sean and I will stick around and answer as many questions as we can. So you'll see there's a questions section of the GoToWebinar panel on the right-hand side. Feel free to enter questions in at any point. We'll address most of those at the end of our presentation here, so hang with us, and whether it's related to what we're showing today or not, we will get to as many as we can. Full disclosure here, we have a whole lot of people that are attending this webinar. This is probably our most highly attended webinar ever. So I can't guarantee we'll get to everything like I normally do, but we will do our best and answer as many as we possibly can. We are going to just kick it off right here and talk a little bit in the beginning about some of our recent releases. There's one thing that I wanted to cover real quickly here in terms of the recent enhancements. We released a new design, as many of you know. For those of you who are new to us, we release fairly frequently, depending on the size and the scope of the project. It can be as often as monthly. It can be as long as every 3 months, 4 months, kind of depending on what the project that we're tackling is. We recently underwent a huge project to overhaul the interface of our courses series, live courses, basically the entire interface when you drop into the product. It has the left-hand navigation now where you can get to everything. It has new grid structure and all that. The motivation of that was twofold. One is to improve the usability and make it easier for people to do the everyday tasks that they were doing, as well as to move away from Flash. There are still a few elements of our product that are in Flash that we will be out of in the near future, so stay tuned to future product webinars. We'll be having some good progress in that area in the coming months. But one of the items that we added when we did this overhaul was this concept of advanced filters. And the reason I wanted to cover this just real quickly today is I know that many of our customers have discovered this sort of after the fact, or they may not realize it when they first become a customer, and then they discover that these advanced filters exist and the power of that lies there. So I just wanted to mention that we do have this. If you go into any of our grid screens, so like they have your list of users, your list of courses, that sort of thing, you'll notice there's an advanced link to the right of the search box. If you click on that, you'll get a bunch of relevant features for the section that you're in. So it could be trainee status or one of your groups or things like that if you're on a trainees grid. Those are really powerful and will really help you get down to a list of users that you want to see. They're also sticky, so they'll remember what you have set previously. So if you never want to see archive trainees for the rest of your time in Mindflash, you can just set it to only active trainees and you'll never have to change that filter again. The other aspect of the advanced filters that really is the most powerful is using advanced filters in conjunction with bulk actions. So there are many places in the product where you can go in and say, show me the people that are in active status who have completed course X and are members of group Y. That will give you a filtered list of people, and then you can go in and you can actually take action on those people. You could say, invite all these people to a specific course. You could say, reset all these people, or remind these people, or change the due date, or the complete by date for all their courses. those are really powerful things. And as you have bigger and bigger programs, those are things that you were typically going in and doing, for a handful of people here. You're doing it one by one here. The whole concept behind that is to be able to do it quickly and efficiently. I'm not going to go into the details of all of that because we do have webinars on it, but I do want to mention that if you're struggling with day-to-day, like it takes me forever to do this action, please reach out to your CSM. I know there's some watershed moments for some of our customers when they discovered this. In fact, I talked to one of my CSMs just the other day who was talking to a customer that had raised their hand and said, hey, I'm super frustrated about this. They went through and kind of did a brief training on how it all works, and the person left very happy and excited that they had discovered that. So if you're at all frustrated with that stuff, or you just want to get a brush up on it, reach out to your CSM. They'd be happy to spend some time, or if you don't know who your CSM is, just hit up help@mindflash.com and we will let you know and get you hooked up with the right person. All right, enough for the stuff that we've already done. Let's talk about the new stuff that is now available. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a feature called white label branding. We have various levels of branding capabilities within the product. If you're on our advanced or basic tier, you can choose your colors, upload your logo, that sort of thing. If you're on our pro tier or an enterprise tier, you have a little bit more capability in terms of choosing a custom color set. You can completely whitewash the entire trainee player, and everything I'm talking about is on the trainee side, or at least that's where the impact is seen. You can completely whitewash it so it doesn't have any colors. You can also remove any Mindflash branding. So in the corner of all the screens, we have a little powered by Mindflash. You can turn that off if you're on Pro or Enterprise. This branding that I'm about to talk about in terms of white label branding is kind of the next level of branding. You'll see it's a lot more intense, it's a lot more custom, and there's a lot more flexibility for you as the customer. So this is something we'll hop into here and talk about how it all works. So first of all, what we're talking about is a framework for customization of the trainee interface. So any of the screens that a trainee sees can be completely customized with your brand, or to reflect your brand. This ties into a lot of the other projects that we're working on and customization options that we're doing. We'll talk about a lot of those today. So this webinar is focused around a lot of features that are very customization oriented and go very strongly with the need for our customers to represent their brand. So things like white label branding, using your own email server, using a custom domain, which is a feature we've had for a long time. So if you wanted to say training.mycompany.com instead of your name.mindflash.com, that's an option already. And then we also have the ability to customize emails. So let's talk through the details of each of these. So what that means and what this framework entails are the colors, the links, so what the links look like, the backgrounds, the text, the fonts, something I left off here in terms of a bullet point, but you can customize all of that stuff. Why would you use this is a very common question. So, okay, great, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Why would I use that? This is really designed for brand-conscious companies that really want to reflect what their brand looks like. So if your company has a very strong brand presence, as a lot of our customers do, if you go look at our customer list, you'll notice there are a lot of really top brands there, and brand is a big deal. So when they're training people that are, maybe even not employees, common use cases, customer training, partner training, reseller training, you'll notice the common thread with those 3 bullet points there is a lot of that is external facing. So they're not training people in their company. With Mindflash, we have both. So for the people that are training internally, often they don't care. They're internal employees, and putting their logo on there and saying, come take my training here is great. For those that are trying to train customers or partners or resellers, it is a big deal because those people are then consuming their brand, and how that brand is represented, whether they're taking training courses or they're using their actual product, is very important. So that's why this is developed, and those are the common people that have found interest in this and are using it. So we're going to talk through kind of what this looks like and what the possibilities are here. I'm going to turn this over to Sean here to kind of talk you through it, and he's going to give you a little demo of what that can look like.
Thanks, Jason. So as you see here, here's potentially options of what you can do in the new white label branding feature on Mindflash. So you can see the entire trainee experience from a whole is being updated here. So you can see the player, the login screens, the dashboard, all are completely customizable. Now let's dig into a portal, and I can show you more.
Okay, I'm just going to switch this over to Sean here. So most of you are familiar with what all these screens look like on a normal Mindflash portal, and Sean's going to take you through and show you kind of a highly customized version of that.
Yeah, so right here, beginning with the login screen, right away you're going to notice that you see the background image, the custom fonts, as well as all the button colors are completely custom here for this company, Acme Bread. All these things get translated into the various pages that a trainee will see. So if we move on now to a public course page, you can see the brand is also, all the updates have also been made to these pages as well. You can see the background images again brought in. You see the button colors, the links, the fonts, all of these elements are now brought into these pages as well. You can also move into the registration page. So if you have a public course page and you want folks to register, the entire page is well customized. So you can see that the brand that we created with the feature is being translated to every single page that a trainee will see. So this is the registration page. Again, the fonts, the colors, all that is being translated over. Next thing, we can move on to the basically a public series page, a public course page. So here you see again the logos translated. You have all the colors that you have chosen are now being translated into these pages as well. So you see the links, the same link color, the same text color, the button colors are consistent through all the different pages. So once they go through one part of the product, they're seeing everything consistently throughout. And the next thing is, let's look at how a course would actually look. So here is the course player, and you can see, again, all these icons are bringing in the colors that you have provided that's tied with the brand, and all of these elements are all customizable. And so once we've set it up, it brings it into all these different aspects. So you can see here that the buttons are able to be customized, even the toggle button here, the text color here, the links, and even this color of this button here can also be customized as well. And you can see, again, all the same features that we have for the player are still available. It just now has a new look and feel.
Great. All right, I'm going to take back control here so you guys can see my screen, and we'll start talking through this. So you can imagine that if you put this, or if you use a custom domain, which is a feature, of course, that we support, and you do the branding that looks like what Sean just showed us, you can see that's a very seamless experience for your customers. You can choose the background logo and the colors and the links and everything like that, and they will probably not know that they're even on the Mindflash site or on the Mindflash system, because it looks exactly like what they would expect on your site or with your product. So a couple other things here. So how does this work? How does this whole situation work? The first thing is, if you are interested in pursuing this, please reach out to your customer success manager. Or, as I mentioned, if you don't know who your customer success manager is, just email help@mindflash.com and we can hook you up with a person to talk about this. Because it is very custom, we will walk you through this and your designers. So, most likely you're going to have to get your internal designers involved here, and they'll work through just doing all the designing and making sure that it fits all of our requirements, and we get you all set up and going, and then we'll be able to put this in place for you, and you'll be off and running. All right, so I'm going to jump into the next section here, which is around custom email design. Before I do that, I just want to remind you, if you do have any questions around this or any of the other things pertaining to Mindflash, you can enter it in the question box on the right-hand side, and we'll hit those up once we get to the end of the presentation here, probably in 10 minutes or so. But now we're going to jump into custom email design. So related to the custom design of the portal itself, a lot of our customers have been requesting two things from our email, or three things. One of them I'll cover with another feature, but two that I'll cover right here. The first is that they would have custom design of HTML design, so what the email looks like. The other being custom text that appears in those emails. So now we can support that. So this is a complete customization of the email design and the language. So if you don't like what it says in the emails, if you don't like the tone, maybe it's too conversational for you, maybe it's too formal for you, whatever the case may be, you can now customize that. And this pertains to all emails that go to trainees. So things like course invitations, your reminders, your completion emails, all of those things that your trainees receive can be customized. So layout, colors, text, logos, the links, all that stuff can be customized. One other thing I wanted to note here is that emails can also be turned off completely. So for some of you, you may be jumping up and down because this is something you've been asking for. We can certainly accommodate that. For the vast majority of you, you're going to say, why would I want to do that? This is something that you would probably want to do if you're heavily integrated with Mindflash. So if you're using single sign-on, which is something that we support, you're linking directly from maybe your own website, your own product. You're sending people directly into Mindflash. You always want them to access through your website or your product. And there's no need for them to get emails because they're going to go to your website and be prompted to go to take a course, and you'll never have to send them an email. So before, we would be sending them emails that would say you can go here to log in. That's all gone if you want it to. We can turn all that off, and you can manage all that yourselves. So another feature that comes along with this that for some people is super critical, and we're excited to be able to offer that today. So custom email design. We have a couple of sort of screenshots of what the possibilities are here. You'll notice these look completely different. There could be 3 paragraphs of text. There could be links to other things if you really wanted them to. You can customize the name, the logos, all that stuff. You see it's got a stylized background on the right-hand side. It's got a plain background on the left-hand side. Whatever your brand is, just let us know according to our requirements, and we can put that in place, and all your emails will reflect that. Also on the custom email design, similar process to what we talked about on the portal design. Talk to your CSM, reach out to them, let them know that you're interested in that. One thing to note on all of the things that we're talking about here is, first of all, everything's got responsive design, which is really important. As people go mobile, and I can say, not definitively based on, I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I can say definitively that mobile is a huge aspect for our people taking courses, or the trainees that take courses on Mindflash. It's often the case that many of our admins have no idea that their trainees are taking their courses on mobile devices. That's by design on our part, in that you never hear that your trainees are complaining because they're taking it on a phone and it doesn't work. So everything that we build, especially on the trainee side, is totally focused on being responsive and mobile friendly. Same with these emails, all the designs we're talking about. This is all stuff that'll work no matter what device they're using. The other thing I want to mention is that both the custom design of the portal and the emails are available on our enterprise tier. There is an additional charge for this. But that's something that your CSM can walk you through on all that. So when you are ready to pursue this, or you're ready for more information, just hit up your CSM or contact help@mindflash.com, and your CSM will walk you through the process and talk you through all that. Okay, next custom feature here, SMTP email server. So this is getting a little bit technical. I'll stay out of the technical aspects of it. The bottom line is that this allows you the ability to send email through your own SMTP email server rather than through Mindflash's server. So on a high level, things you can do because of that is you can customize the from address. So currently all of the emails that are sent from Mindflash go from trainer@mindflash.com. It's sort of just a generic email address. It has your name on it, but at the end of the day, that's the email address that it's coming from. You can use your own from email address. So if you wanted to have, training department at companyx.com, all of your email could go from that email address. So that this affords that ability. You can track and troubleshoot your email delivery. So a very common scenario that we hear is, hey, some of my trainees haven't received emails. So we can dive into our email system and look at the details of it. And more often than not, more than we ever thought would be the case, the trainee hasn't been set up in the email system yet. So it's a new employee. Someone's gotten excited and they've fired off an email invitation to them before that trainee even has an email address in the system. So we can see that on our end with the way we send our email now. If you use your own SMTP server, it's very likely that you can see that as well. Or if you can currently see that sort of stuff, you would be able to see that for email that's sent from Mindflash. So something to think about. And there's lots of scenarios where that would be useful. The other thing is that if you're using your own email server, it would follow any settings or blacklist, whitelist settings that are in your email system. So, if your email server is set up so that any email sent within your company on the company's domain, companyx.com from, and at companyx.com always gets through. We're not worried about, spam within our system. Any email sent through your email server via Mindflash would also, have access to those rules. So that's a big benefit as well. You don't have to worry about, crazy blacklists or things like that that might be an issue. Again, this is a custom setup situation. If you are interested in doing this, please let us know and we can work you through all of that. Next, I'm going to talk about multi-account management tools. So for our bigger customers, this is for folks that need to have multiple Mindflash accounts. They can manage those as a unit. There's billing implications of all of that, and we can talk through, kind of what the options are. So this allows for seamless account switching. If I need to have multiple Mindflash accounts, if I have an admin account, for example, in both of those Mindflash accounts, I can switch between the two accounts, and we'll show what that looks like in a second here, without having to log out of one, log into another. I can just seamlessly go back and forth. This structure allows for content restrictions. So for people that have requirements where they don't want their admins or trainers to see certain course content, they could potentially run multiple accounts. So only the people in one account can see those courses, people in the other account can see those courses. A scenario where that might be useful is your HR department doesn't want anyone else at the company besides HR trainers to see the content and the results of those courses. So they have a separate account from the sales department that has it on, has their own account and is running their own stuff. So it's completely, partitioned between the two, and they can't see each other's courses and content or adjust it for that matter. This allows for that structure. The other thing is that this will support multiple brands. So if you have, if you think of a scenario like, a company like GE, they've got multiple brands that they own. They want to represent those. They're very brand conscious for each of those different brands. Potentially, they could have a different account for each brand. It could be completely customized with all the settings and the options that we just saw in the last segment or last features we were talking about. And you can kind of just seamlessly switch between those brands if you want to. So that's a scenario where you would use multiple Mindflash accounts as well. The other thing is we have a unified reporting exports. So if you need to know all of the course completions across all of your accounts or series completions or things like that, we have the ability to download reports that span multiple accounts. So a lot of our customers are operating multiple accounts now. This could potentially consolidate all of that for them, and they could just kick out an export for everyone rather than going to each account and downloading. And then it gives us a little bit more flexibility on what your billing options are. Depending on what your company structure is, Some people want all of their accounts rolled up under one invoice. We can do that. Others want the accounts tied together under one sort of master license, but everyone, each department gets charged separately. We have more flexible options on that. I can't guarantee we can support every requirement out there, but hit us up. We're more than happy to talk through what the options are and see if we have the right option for you. So who would use it? Typically, this is used by larger companies that need multiple accounts for a couple of reasons. One would be to represent different brands or to partition training content. Common use cases: if you're training externally for multiple brands, you have a light bulb company and you have a bathroom fixture company owned by or a brand that are owned by the same company. They may want to have different types of training, different branding that's going on in there. They could have two different accounts. A large company with different departments that are very segmented. So it's a master license underneath the entire company, but they have two different accounts or 5 different accounts or 20 different accounts that they're running. That's a scenario where they might want that. The other one is they want internal and external training to run through Mindflash, and they just want separate accounts. Again, totally possible. You may want one that's highly branded for your external. You might want one that's not branded internal, and obviously the course content would be significantly different in those different scenarios, and you can do that. And again, benefit being you can just switch seamlessly between the multiple accounts. So we're going to talk a little bit about what those features are and what the design kind of looks like and how you do that stuff.
Sure, great. So if you have your accounts linked and you're an admin in multiple portals, you can easily switch between your accounts. So if you go to the right, as you can see in the image, and you click on your name, you'll see the option to switch accounts. And once you do that, you'll get to the next screen, which is you'll see which accounts are linked and which ones you can switch between. So you'll see the name of the account and what role you're in that account. So you'll see the first two, you're administrating those accounts. And you can easily switch between those accounts. You can also switch if you're a trainee in one of these accounts. You can also switch in between those. So no login. You make your selection of which account you want to switch to. You click done, and you automatically log into that next portal.
Great. The last thing I wanted to cover here real quickly is we have extended our support hours. Our many customers on the East Coast and in Europe have requested that we do so. So we have done that. It's already been in place for actually probably 3 weeks or a month now. We are operating our support from 4 a.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. Pacific, so that puts us at 7 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States and gives us much better reach into Europe. So many of you have spoken with our support team. They do an excellent job, very highly rated, very quick to respond. And now we have extended hours. So, if there's something that comes up early in the morning, you can hit us up and we can certainly troubleshoot with you or talk you through whatever is going on. Okay, so the last thing we'll go through here is questions that people have. We actually have surprisingly few questions. Normally we are inundated with questions that take us quite a while to get through, but we don't have a ton today. So if you do have a question, please enter that in. Because we may not be around too long to answer those questions, but we're happy to stick around as long as we have questions for. So the first question is, does the system allow for single sign-on? Answer for that is yes. We have a couple of options that you can use. We support SAML, so any SAML-based system that works will work with Mindflash. There's actually some good help documentation in our help center, which is just help.mindflash.com, or you can access it when you're logged into your account. If you click on your name you click on the button next to your name in the top right-hand corner. It has some details on that. So we support SAML-based single sign-on. We also have an API, which will allow for single sign-on or aspects of single sign-on. So depending on which is the best option for you, you can pursue that. And then we also support a software program called Okta, which plugs into many different software systems out there. So that's an option if you are using Active Directory or any other of the hundreds of systems that they plug into. So lots of different options there. If you do have questions around that, just hit us up. Our CSMs are well versed in that, and we can certainly get you the answers to that. One thing I'll note, just to plug for single sign-on, this is a tremendous way to increase your course completion and sort of smooth that process for your trainees. So if you are at all concerned that people are going to forget their logins, or they're just not going to do courses because it's a pain to do, talk to your CSM. We'll walk you through how you can do this stuff, and you'll see much better course completions and much happier trainees. So highly regarded feature. Is all of the new design responsive so that it works on any device? Yes. So all of the stuff that we're designing now is responsive. We take a very mobile-first approach to all of this. You'll notice that all of the screens that we released, or all the interfaces that we released this past summer on the admin side, are also responsive. So you can get on a phone and you've got something that fits well in your screen right there. You can go to a tablet, you can go to a desktop or a laptop, doesn't matter to us. All of those screens will fit appropriately and move around nicely. And then anything that we release going forward is responsive and works well on mobile devices. So something that we're highly committed to. And the other thing that we can guarantee, or that we strive to achieve and maintain, is that all content works on all those devices as well. So as many of you know, mobile devices block Flash content. A lot of e-learning content is created in Flash and in tools that don't allow it to be viewed on the web or on mobile devices. We don't support those sorts of content because we're committed to the mobile experience. We recognize that everyone needs to take it on whatever device at whatever time. And we have lots of great content creation options that are supportable on mobile devices, and so we recommend those and can certainly put you onto some good software if you want additional options that will always work in those scenarios. Do you have to be able to design in HTML or other coding, or can you do all customization through controls in the application? No, so all of the customization that we saw is custom. So we are actually putting it in place. It's all done through CSS. So we will provide you with all the requirements and walk you through what that is, but you will have to have someone that is comfortable working with CSS and have a designer or someone, someone that's capable of working on that. If you do have questions, certainly we can walk you through the details of that, so you can figure out. It's not super strenuous, to be quite honest. Sean's been poking around on this for a long time, and despite having a lot of experience in product design and everything like that, he doesn't write code. He's not a designer, but he's capable of doing it all. So it's not over the top, but you would have to have some sort of background in this. So questions around pricing and everything. As I mentioned, please contact your CSM. We'll walk through what this looks like for you. This is an enterprise level feature. That said, there is a charge for it, but we will walk you through what that looks like in your particular scenario based on the tier that you're on. How do you turn off the email function? That is something that we can do on the back end as part of this suite of customization. So if you're interested in doing that, please reach out to your CSM, and we'll have to do it for you. There's no switch to just turn it on and off. Can we split our account into multiple, preferably without additional fees? The short answer to this is no. There will be additional fees. The support for multi-accounts is, again, an enterprise feature. But talk to your CSM. They can walk you through what that looks like for you based on your needs. And there is additional work that goes into that, but we'll find a reasonable place for you, and hopefully we can support that for you. When working with multiple accounts, does a trainee have to be a member of 2 accounts in order to switch between them? For anyone to have access to an account in Mindflash, they have to have an account in Mindflash. There's no way for people to just switch into an account without having a user account on that portal. So if this is a question that's kind of coming from a security standpoint, like you're worried about people getting access to your account, I just want to make it completely clear that is something we take very seriously. And if you have your courses set to private, meaning no one can just sign up for them publicly or on their own, there is no way for people to get into your courses unless they have an account. If they do have an account, then they could potentially switch between those accounts. So if I'm a trainee on 2 different accounts, I struggle to see a great scenario where that would occur, but if that did occur and the 2 accounts were tied together, then yes, they could switch between them. The more likely scenario is that I'm a trainer on multiple accounts or I'm an admin on multiple accounts, and then I want to just switch back and forth to administrate, then that would work. One thing I will note is that in order to switch between accounts on different Mindflash accounts, your email address has to be the same on both accounts. So it has to line up. We have to know that you're the same person. So you can't, I can't switch into Sean's account because I don't have his email address and I don't know what his password is. So those things need to tie together. Can a trainee be in multiple accounts without using multiple licenses? For example, we want to train on multiple brands. How will an attendee experience look like if we choose the multi-account management? So they will be users in multiple accounts. So in theory, they would be taking up a seat in multiple accounts. In terms of their experience, it would look a lot like what Sean showed, and I can show you real quickly here if I go back. This little box would pop up with the multiple accounts, and they could switch to that other account. But they would be taking up a seat in the other account as well if they were training on it. Effectively, they're training on that different account and different brand. Do you offer Salesforce integration with Mindflash? Yes, absolutely. So Salesforce is something that we integrated with probably a 1.5 years ago, or a little over a year ago. It is something that we support. Again, if it is something you want to talk through, whether or not it's right for you, certainly hit us up. Your CSM can walk you through all that. We can talk through your scenario and find out if it's appropriate. But absolutely, and it's a great feature that we released some time ago. In the beginning of the webinar, you mentioned a customer list. Can you share a couple of names of top customers that you're currently working with? Totally understandable. You can't at this time. Yeah, so I'd be happy to share a customer list with you. So the best thing to do is if you just go to mindflash.com, there is an option to go and see our customers there. We have an extensive customer list. At the risk of bragging, we have an impressive customer list. A lot of really top brands and innovative companies that are using Mindflash. So the best thing I can do is kind of direct you to the website. Those are all folks that I'm happy to talk about. But if you want a quick summary, Dyson, Microsoft, a lot of different people, Kellogg's, Samsung, excuse me, Uber, Johnson & Johnson. Just those are sort of the top line of folks that are on our website. So definitely check that out. I have existing quizzes that don't work with mobile. Will they start working now, or do I need to recreate them to enable mobile capability? So there are currently 2 of our 6 question types that don't work on mobile. They are image-based dragging question types. There are warnings in the interface when you're creating those quizzes that tell you they don't work on mobile. So if you want to use those question types, you probably want to have a largely desktop-based or laptop-based customer base or trainee base. That obviously is harder to ensure at this point that people are doing it that way. I will note that if they run into one of these questions or on a mobile device that's not supported, it does prompt them and tell them that that question type is not supported on that mobile device and that they need to take it on a desktop. So it's not a dead end. It just suggests that they go take it on a desktop. We are in the process of overhauling our quiz situation. Hopefully the product team won't get upset with me for revealing that. But we're in the process of overhauling that. One of the many objectives of that overhaul is to make those questions mobile friendly. So that is, where we're headed. Your current questions, while they won't work on mobile devices, we will be supporting that scenario in the future, and we will certainly let everyone know when that is the case. That will be sort of our last holdback on the mobile front. But that is coming in first half of next year, so look forward to that. Okay, so that, I believe, takes us to the end of our questions here. If there are any final questions, now would be the time to speak up or just let us know. You can obviously reach out to us in person if you want to. Do you have any intentions for an app? So we do have an app for the iPad. That is something that we've had for quite some time and was our first venture into mobile. Right now we're not hot on rolling out more apps. The direction we've gone is just using the browser on all mobile devices. For us, there are a lot of advantages to that. Namely that the trainee doesn't have to have the app installed, and it can be when you tie it into all of the custom branding type stuff that we've gone through today, which is something that's very relevant and important to our customer base. That's where apps start to break down a little bit. So given that we're kind of headed in that direction of the customization of the design and everything, using the browser is actually a much better path for us, and we're able to support everything that we do within the actual browsers on the mobile devices. So that's more likely where we're headed long term. But if you are interested in using our iPad app for the trainee side, I should say, we have an iPad app. We do not have an app for the admin side. But again, we're moving toward 100% support for our admin side on mobile, and that'll come next year. Almost into next year, but that'll come in the coming months or the early months of next year. So, that's kind of where we are on that. As I mentioned, as we've gone through all the features today, first of all, thanks for everyone who's stuck around and for submitting questions. We're happy to, sit around and answer questions whenever we can. That said, if you do have any questions that come up, there's a few questions on here that are easily answered by our CSMs. So please, if you have any questions about Mindflash or you find something frustrating, as the head of the CSM group, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to our CSMs or our support team. Both are very knowledgeable, have very happy customers, so reach out to them, have a chat with them. Even if we don't have the feature you're looking for or the function you're looking for, they're able to feed that back into the product team. Everything that you see here today has all been driven off customer feedback of this is something that we need to do and this is important to us. So please give us that feedback. That drives about 80% of our development, I would say. The other 20% are just brilliant ideas out of Sean's head. But seriously, we're constantly talking to the product team, so it's very important for us to get that feedback. So hit up your CSM, have a chat with them. They're available. That's what they're there to do, and I can attest to the fact that they're all very nice people. So we are going to be processing this webinar into a video, and we will be sending that out to all of the people that registered, whether you attended or not. So if you did not attend and you're just hearing this now, thanks for joining. But we'll be sending that out probably later this afternoon as a YouTube link. And I think that's it. Thanks for joining, and we will talk to you soon. All right, bye.